Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is going to be, actually, is Sorority Sisters episode 7, 8, and 9. Okay? You know I don't believe in wasting you guys' time. So the thing is, there was so much controversy, they actually decided on Friday to show the last 3 episodes all back to back, which was 7, 8, and then 9 was the finale. That's how I watched them. That's how I had to watch them. So that's how I'm going to give it to you in the review. Trust me, the review won't be all that long because they were able to show all 3 episodes like that because there wasn't that much content. Okay? It was a wasted three episodes, really. There was the whole situation on episode 7 about Priyanka finally having her shoes and all of that. She had drag queens to actually put the shoes on and model the shoes, which, I mean, who the fuck else did you think she was going to find to have them big ass shoes on? But anyway, you know, they did all that, and some of the girls were kind of rude to the drag queens. We're not going to harp on that shit. It was what it was. You know how they are. They're sorority sisters, and that's the big thing about why they're not on the air anymore, because they didn't conduct themselves as sorority sisters. They were a little, yeah. Okay, so Shayna actually at the calendar launch party, she met this nice little brown skin guy and all of that. She then ended up giving awards out to the ladies. April was pissed because she gave her the Stick to It award, which was like some petty bullshit. Which meant she basically did nothing but fuss the whole time, but she stuck through the whole process. And then Kat, she gave Kat the Best Turnaround Award, and when she presented it to her, she had made the statement, "Girl, your attitude was so bad when we came in. That's why I gave you this award, because you turned it around and everything was wonderful. But girl, when I first came in, I wanted to smack you." Kat was so upset about it. So afterwards, Kat approached Shayna about it. Toya was up there with her. They were basically on the roof of the place. And Kat's sorors that were actually there got so upset, they went all off and carried on. They got really, really ridiculous. They really wanted to physically fight with Shayna. I thought it was ridiculous. You all, if you were watching, you know, like I know, they wanted to fight with her because it was the little white girl. If it would have been one of them black bitches, honey, they wouldn't have been. If it had been Priyanka with her big old motherfucking manly looking ass standing up there, them whores wouldn't have been so ready to jump up and want to fight. But being as though it was Shayna, they were ready to get down. Really? Really? Shut up and sit down. It was ridiculous. It really was ridiculous. The awards thing, no, she didn't have to go there. But oh well, what the fuck ever. You know, people, it was messy. It was messy. She said some shit that was out of pocket. Okay, it makes for good TV. But that whole wanting to fight, that was really stupid. Because if they were all some ghetto-ass black bitches up there, they would not have been ready to jump on her and all that. So that was foolishness. Let's see. Yeah, and Joy was the one leading the pack. You know, Joy was leading the pack. That Joy is just as messy as hell. Then they gave her this hair color that matches her skin. She looks a fucking mess. She's not cute anyway. And then you're starting shit, and then your hair is matching your face. Girl, go sit down. Go sit down. It's refreshing not to see her troublemaking ass no more. Ridiculous. And April really tried the bully and Shayna thing, and it went absolutely nowhere because Toya was giving, "Girl, bye." And April's like, well, why are you standing behind her? Why won't you knock her the fuck out the way? Because you're a bad bitch, right? Knock Toya the fuck down. Get her out your way. But you don't want to do that because you know Toya will tap that butt, knock that hair to the side. Just ridiculous. And April, when you look at her, she really does have an issue. April's crazy. You know, she's the one, and then she always telling people, "Oh, girl, they were screaming and hollering." Don't nobody be screaming and hollering but April. Anyway, moving on. Now that was all of episode 7. Episode 8 had to do with Fashion Week down in Atlanta. So Adrene was planning an event. April was planning an event. April's event really was she invited other fashion people in the fashion industry down in Atlanta and to do this fundraiser. Like everybody was coming in and they were going to do their products and do this fundraiser. She didn't invite a dream. Duh. Y'all don't get along. So like, why would she invite you? So they moved on with that. Then we have Veronica. She was nervous about telling her sorors that they weren't going to be in the wedding. And not only were they not going to be in the wedding, they weren't even coming to the wedding because of the budget. I'm not even getting into that because if I get into that situation, I'll be up on my soapbox. I'm not getting into that. If you want to hear my story about that, you'll have to go buy my book, honey. Where that kind of little thing has happened to me before, and I wrote about it in my book. But that's kind of like an ugly situation where me and that friend, I don't think we've ever actually gotten past that, and probably never really, really will. You know, we didn't see eye to eye on it, and we probably never will. So anyway, moving forward, I'm not getting into that today. April and Adrene actually did have a confrontation. She wanted to know why, Adrene invited April out. She wanted to know why she wasn't invited, as if she didn't already know. April basically told her, because I don't trust you. That's it. And so she told her, I will think about it and I'll get back in touch with you. So that's basically, she didn't get back in touch with her. She basically went to see her dad. Her dad's a bishop. Her dad basically said, hell no. No. Don't invite the devil into what you're doing, and all of that. Well, in the meantime, in between time, Adrene done invited herself. And she got Mitoya on board. Mitoya don't know the whole story. Mitoya did these cute little cake pops. They were like suckers, but they were made out of cake. And she had her little tags on them. Child Adrene pulled that bullshit on her and was like, well, I don't think 2 tags is going to look nice. So I just will put my tag on them. Shady boots. So I didn't like that very much. I thought that was really petty. And neither did Victoria. But it didn't matter because nobody ever got to see him. Because she showed up. They showed up to the venue and literally were escorted away by the police. Showed her ass. She just showed her ass. It was ridiculous. She come in there hula hooping, brought her own red carpet, just cutting up. And they asked her to leave, ended up calling the police. I had to laugh. April's dad clowned, which was not a good look at all for the bishop. In there threatening them women and telling them, if anybody wants to show out here, it's going to be this, that, thing, and the bishop, go sit down. Get the Lord, and you and the Lord go on over there and have a seat here. Go sit down, because you all out of pocket right now. And I can't even remember which one of the girls said it, but I screamed, baby. I think it was Priyanka, because this was after Adrene and them were gone. And when Priyanka and them showed up, everybody was being really shady with them. You know what I mean? Honey, I think that was Priyanka that said, child, these are some gangster Christians. And I about pissed on myself. You hear me? But her dad looked so foolish to me. First of all, you're a man. You're getting in these women's shit. You know what I mean? And then they're young women. And you're this old motherfucking bishop. You don't have nothing else to do. You ain't got nobody else to pray over. You in here fucking with them. Get your old ass and your Jesus. And you go sit down. Bishop. That foolishness. Anyway, moving on. Priyanka and Lydia went down to meet. She went to visit her daughter. And Priyanka actually met Lydia's family. Her people were normal. And they had good sense. And they told her, bitch, you need to get a motherfucking job and get your motherfucking baby and quit playing dancer. Bitch, you're not Paula Abdul. Okay? And all they did was tell her the truth. But that bitch got right back in that car without the baby, honey, and went right on back out there to go dance some more. So, foolishness. And that's all that went on for episode 8. Here we go. We almost at 10 minutes. It's 9:27. Okay, moving on to the finale. Shayna was at church. She did a solo, turned it out. Has a beautiful voice. She sang her ass off at church. Naturally, she goes to a black church as well. She was really, really good. Really good. And we see the little guy that she had been dating and all of that. And then we ended up finding out that boyfriend was married and had kids, honey. So that was that. She basically told him to get the fuck on. That was kind of rough because she kind of liked him. But yeah, he tried to play her. She gave her black girl rendition, baby. Get the fuck on out of here, motherfucker. Beat it. So that was cool. Then we saw Priyanka goes to see Miss Diamond, which was one of the drag queens that was one of the models and all that. And they wanted to get together. And that was what they were talking about, getting together to do an event for Priyanka, wear her shoes to launch all that. So they went ahead and did all of that. Veronica and Lydia, they had a dinner for Veronica, and everybody showed up. They talked about the wedding and all that. The wedding gowns got picked out. There was some little situation between the boy's mother and Veronica. Nothing real major. They fixed it all up. Everybody fixed everything up. It didn't even get all that really eventful. Everybody fucking made up. I was pissed. Because everybody made up at the end of the show, which said to me that a lot of the shit was put on in the first place. When Adream and April made up, I was just done. So like I said, they showed 3 episodes, all back to back to back. They were really trying to build up to a good finale, but nothing really went on. Nothing really went on. I mean, they had us hanging on. We was like, oh, this shit gonna be something between Jesse's mother and Veronica, and it wasn't. It really wasn't. The commercial was more interesting. The commercial break was more interesting than the little hang in the cliff that they had us waiting on that nothing really happened. And when everybody made up, like I said, I was just really done. Everybody just made up, and I was like, wasted time. And I'm so glad they didn't waste 3 more weeks of our time. And that's basically it. That's how Sorority Sisters ended. They hurried up and got it snatched off. But it was nice that they actually did make it through showing all their episodes, because God knows they could have been like Baps Baby and been yanked and got an email saying, you bitches ain't going to be on no more. So, anyway, I thank all of you guys for actually hanging out with me for the weeks that it actually was on. I guess we enjoyed tearing them up and laughing at the dumb shit that they were doing, but it was getting kind of old. So, whatever. There's always another reality show waiting around the corner for me to tear up. And I will be right there tearing it up with y'all right with me. All right, guys. So you can thumbs up or thumbs down. You guys know how that works. I will see you guys real soon. I'm sure there will be something else coming for us shortly. That'll be all controversial. It'll be a hot-ass mess, honey. Mona's probably working on something right now for us. All right, guys. Catch up with you later. Bye, guys.